The Ford Focus Estate, should you get one? Let's find out from somebody who bought one. So Ian, this is your car.
Yep.
How long have you owned this?
I took ownership of it on the 16th of October of last year. Owned some other car packing in, and I just needed something reliable and affordable.
Okay.
I've had quite a few dealings with a Ford dealership in Hull. They've looked after me very well. Came up with a sort of a plan. Said what I wanted, a decent price. Initially I was going to go for the hatch, but this car became available at the right price. Even though it's a more expensive car to buy from the fresh, they did a good price and a good deal on me, so never looked back. Absolutely.
So have you been Ford for quite a long time?
We've always had Fords. My wife has a Ford Puma. Prior to that we had a Ford Puma. Prior to that she had 3 EcoSports.
Wow.
Prior to that we had 3 Fiestas.
Okay.
And years ago we had a black Ford Focus, and it was the 2-litre TDCi.
Right.
That was rapid.
So is there a reason for the Ford love? Is there a particular reason why you stick with the brand?
The supercars to drive. I know they're not the top marks, you're not your Audis, your BMWs and Mercedes, but it's a nice middle of the road car, and it's proved to be a good car. Let's face it, the Fords are good sellers.
One of the things that people always mention about Fords is how good, and you've just mentioned it, the handling and the chassis. You know, they're renowned for putting together some great handling cars, and with the characteristics. Is that the case with this?
Well, yeah, albeit getting older, I don't throw it about as much as I used to throw the other ones about, but you can feel the stability of this car even in eco mode. But when you put it on sport mode, you can feel it tighten up a little bit and more sort of ready to go. But it's a super handling car. Even though it's quite a long car, I don't get the long car feel, the bargey type feel you can with some cars.
Yeah.
It's solid and it's very, very smooth and quiet for, let's face it, it's a 1 litre.
Yeah.
999cc pushing out 155 brake horsepower. It's just insane.
And this is the automatic version.
But this is the auto.
Yeah.
This is the auto, yeah. I was spoken with a car from an auto, and I think once you've had an auto, for me it had to be an auto. So that was another specification that I had.
So you weren't necessarily considering this car. It wasn't like you sort of had it on a short list, the estate version. It was just something that they offered to you and you thought, actually this fits the bill quite well.
Yeah, as it was, the car that I had let me down. I'd do some driving up and down the country and I needed some reliability. Even though the other car I had was fantastic, I actually did the deal virtually from my car breaking down to the next day when I actually saw this car and said, right, I'll have one. And that's what they came up with. So I wasn't particularly looking for an estate car, but I was looking for an affordable car. I didn't want another Puma because we don't want 2 Pumas, that would have been silly. And I've always liked the Ford Focus.
And tell me about this particular version. This is the Active X, is that right?
This is the Active X. The reason I went for the Active X is because when I test drove the ST line X, which is a lovely car, it was a little bit lower. In actual fact, it might not seem much, but it's actually 2 inches lower.
Wow.
Which wasn't a problem for me.
Yeah.
But when I took my wife out in the car, she said I don't like the low fitting.
Right.
And she said I won't get in that. So it really was a no-brainer. So I said, well, what are the other options? And he came up with the Active X. But 2 inches taller. It's exactly the same sort of height as the other car, and it fits the bill. And it's a lovely car.
It's an interesting one because, we've all got very used to SUVs in lots of ways, and that higher driving position, and actually the hip point, being able to get out in and out quite easily and get children in and out of cars. But actually this is quite a nice compromise.
It is.
It's not too much higher up, but it is raised and you've still got an incredible amount of space. It's a nice compromise, isn't it?
I'd go as far to say it's like an urban-y kind of saloon car without being an SUV.
Right.
Because you have got a little bit extra height on it. And it works well for me.
So tell me about some of the things that you are most impressed with. How long have you had it now for?
October last year.
4 or 5 months? 4 months?
November, December, January. No, 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
Just 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
So 3 months in, what do you think are the things that you would say you love the most? And
Well,
you'd be most impressed with?
Well, being a Yorkshireman, fantastic on fuel. Okay, so I go to a place called just outside Coventry. Can't remember the name of the place now. It's a Jaguar Land Rover sort of holding area where we pick the cars up when I do my chauffeuring. I set the cruise on at 65 miles an hour. No word of a lie, it's coming back at 62 miles to the gallon. Not 65, 62, that's 65 miles an hour. Set the cruise, it's so smooth. No need to be there early, so I don't need to go fast. So the economy on this car is absolutely outstanding. For the size of the car and the overall weight, it's just over 2 tonnes fully laden, although I'm not fully laden. And from that point of view, it's fantastic on fuel, but it's so smooth to drive. You would never believe that's a 1 litre.
Right.
You would never believe it in a million years. And the car I had before that was a 3 litre V6 petrol.
So fuel economy, and
comfort.
the smoothness. Yeah.
Comfort, yeah.
How about things like reliability and, I mean, we're only 3 months in,
Yet to know on that, but based on the Puma that we've got, I'm thinking it's got to be superb. One of the things for me that I was concerned about was the residuals, because as from this year, I think Ford are stopping making the Focus.
Yeah.
Which obviously conjures sorts of things in your mind. Well, it's not going to be a current car. Is it going to be something that people will want? And I know from the guys that I've bought the cars from, they said as soon as the Fiesta was stopped being manufactured, that the second-hand residuals went through the roof because people want them. Now, I'm not saying that will happen with this car because it's in probably a little bit of a different sort of category, but I think a Ford Focus estate will predominantly have a good feel for somebody along the line.
Yeah,
something that, because it could be used as a workhorse when it comes, when I come to maybe chuck it in and get something different.
Yeah.
At the moment, I can see me keeping this for quite a considerable time.
Good. Okay, well, that's really good to hear. And how are you getting on with the infotainment and the tech?
Brilliant. It's wireless Apple CarPlay. It's got wireless charging. It's got I can't remember the side of the screen, but it's got a lovely size screen on it, and you can half it, so you've got the map and you've also got your infotainment, like your radio or even Spotify and stuff like that. The hands-free, although I don't like using the phone that much when I'm driving because it's a massive distraction, but the hands-free phone is as clear as it's person talking to you next door. So,
okay.
And the seats are really comfy, absolutely really comfy. Heated seats, heated steering wheel.
Excellent. So overall, really impressed. I mean, I was going to go through in terms of ratings, with out of 5 for comfort. It sounds like you're pretty much 5 across the board with most things.
At the moment, I can't think of anything really that I could criticise, but then again, it is only 3 months in.
Yeah.
But I'm basing this on the Puma as well, because it's very similar inside to the Puma, but the screen's bigger on this one. Comfort-wise, it's just the same, and it handles fantastic. So yeah, at the moment, if I'm basing the Puma, which we've had for just coming up a year and a half, I don't see any issues for me at the moment.
And what would you give the car out of 5 overall?
I've got to give it 5.
Great. That's really good
I love the car. I wait and see if anything goes wrong before, if anything does go wrong. It does have a recall at the moment, only for the bing bong for the, if the seatbelt in the passenger seats not clicked in.
Right.
It's not bing bonging. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just on a recall. It's
okay.
a 15-minute job plugging it in and doing some software updates.
But overall, sounds like you're really pleased with the choice and really getting on great with it.
Yeah, I love for Fords. Always have loved Fords, and that's why I decided. And coupled with the fact they do me a good deal, I think it's probably the 10th brand new Ford we've had with Ford in Hull. So
wow,
yeah, it's they'll probably see me coming. I don't know.
It's really good to hear. It's always so nice to hear when people are actually just really pleased with what they've got and how it's all going, and And of course, they're a bulk manufacturer, aren't they? So they have a lot of cars. You're going to get things going wrong with them, aren't they? But I think this particular stage of the car, it's at the end of its manufacturing state. I think they might have had it right now. Yeah, Yeah. It's definitely not the
Yeah.
first year for it, is it?
Absolutely.
As a new model. I mean, I'm genuinely interested in this because I think it. I don't like the phrase ticking lots of boxes, but it does actually tick almost every box that I can think of.
I'm trying to think of a fault inside, but I took my daughter and my granddaughter to Sheffield in it a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely love it. My granddaughter, who's 7, she was so comfy in the back of the car. Loved it with the armrest, heated seats and steering wheel. Like I say, they're a fantastic bonus. And of course, the room in the back is colossal. When I put that sheet, you know, the cover across the back,
Yeah.
there's lots of space.
That's what Ian thinks about the Ford Focus Estates, and hopefully that's helpful if you're considering getting this car. And if you have one, maybe you agree with Ian, maybe you disagree with some of his thoughts, we'd love to know what you think about it. You can leave us a comment below, and look out for more owner reviews coming very soon.